right, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to our workshop on how to effectively participate in Coastal Commission hearings. This meeting is being recorded, and my name is Javier Padilla Reyes, and I'm the Environmental Justice Program Manager for the California Coastal Commission. With me today is Chinoso Uzawie, the Commission's Environmental Justice Program Analyst, and this presentation has been prepared in close collaboration with Tiffany Carey from Outdoor Outreach, who came up with the idea of such a workshop and supported us from the beginning. Next slide, please. So this is our agenda for the day. We're going to begin with a Zoom poll icebreaker, and then we're going to give a bit of background about why some call the Coastal Commission the People's Commission, and then we'll touch on how the environmental justice policy furthers our engagement efforts. Then we're going to get into how to sign up for public comment and what resources and tips there are available. But first, I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll, and you should see it pop on your screens. Please take a minute to fill it out. If you are calling via phone, I'm afraid you may not be able to participate on this poll, but rest assured, it is just for information. I'm seeing the answers populate the poll. We'll give it just a little bit longer. And I'm not going to end the poll right away, but this poll is going to give us some insight into how effective webinars such as this are. Okay. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to end the poll now. Thank you. Okay, so just wanted to again begin talking about the origins of the Coastal Act. And by the end of the 60s, California's population had grown significantly. Property values were rising, and the intensification of industrial, commercial, and residential development along the coast became a serious cause of concern. It threatened the natural beauty of the coast, the agricultural and fishing communities, ecological integrity, as well as affordable places for Californians to live and recreate. All along the coast, massive projects were proposed. There were freeways and power plants that were paving over dunes and wetlands, and gated subdivisions that were cutting people off from access to the beaches. Next slide, please. In 1969, a huge oil spill in Santa Barbara became the catalyst to have state oversight on coastal development. Corporate interests in Sacramento blocked all attempts at reform. Next slide. So in 1972, Californians, the public, organized a campaign to save the coast for all people. This was called the Coastal Conservation Initiative, also known as Proposition 20. Next slide, please. The Coastal Initiative was outspent significantly. The opposition to Prop 20 were large oil and real estate interests, railroads, and private utilities, among many others that you see here. Next slide. However, the people of California ended up voting overwhelmingly yes on Prop 20, and it led to the creation of the Coastal Act and the California Coastal Commission. Next slide. The Coastal Act evolved from Proposition 20, and it allowed the creation of the California Coastal Commission. The Coastal Act is the framework for managing and protecting the coast, and so And we have a lot of very important goals. So next slide. The Coastal Commission has been referred to as the People's Commission because we're one of the few agencies that were created by public demand. So by this vote during Prop 20. And so what is it that we do? So the Coastal Commission's mission involves protecting and enhancing coastal resources, maximizing public access, prioritizing coastal dependent activities, and encouraging sustainability. We're tasked with regulating development, and we're using the Coastal Act to do that in the coastal zone. Now, if you don't know what the coastal zone is, it's a narrow strip of land that runs along the coast from the US-Mexican border all the way to the Oregon border. This narrow strip can be anywhere from a few blocks from the shoreline to 5 miles inland and about 3 nautical miles out to sea. And because of this, we manage activities in both land and water. Next slide, please. Now, the commission is made up of about 12 voting members with 4 appointments each by the governor, the Senate Rules Committee, and the Speaker of the Assembly. This equal balance between appointing authorities creates a more independent regulatory body. We also have a professional staff of roughly 170 employees. Chino and I are one of them, in seven different offices throughout the coast. Our headquarters is in San Francisco. Simply put, staff carefully analyze projects and planning documents that come before the commission and make a recommendation to our commissioners. And commissioners hold monthly multi-day hearings where they vote on the projects after hearing from staff, from the applicants, and from the general public. Next slide, please. So if the commissioners have the final say on during these hearings, who are they, right? While the commissioners change over time, it's important to know that 6 are public members and 6 are locally elected officials. A current list of our commissioners can be found on our website under About or by clicking on the link on the bottom right on our homepage. And that page also shows you how to contact them appropriately. Next slide, please. So the Coastal Commission was created to serve all Californians, not just Republicans, Democrats, developers, environmentalists, rich or poor, but all Californians. And even with that mandate, certain communities all over the state still feel left out of the coast. And these are people who can't afford to live on the coast or their access was cut off by toxic industries. And as public servants, we really pride ourselves in listening to the public, but there's so many people that do not know how to engage or don't have the time because they're working 2 or more jobs, or they don't speak or understand English very well. And for too long, all of these people were being unintentionally left out. So after decades of these communities organizing and advocating for themselves at the federal, state, and local governments, they finally started listening. Next slide, please. So for us, this came through Assembly Bill 2616, which further expanded protections to populations most vulnerable and often left out from government processes. And it pushed for meaningful engagement from these folks. The Commission went on to adopt its environmental justice policy in 2019 after having this authority granted by AB 2616, which appointed our Environmental Justice Commissioner, Commissioner Turnbull Sanders. All of that is to say that your voice really counts. Commissioners now more than ever want to hear from you, and we are trying our best to strengthen public participation. Next slide. Here's a way that's changed recently. A major change that occurred from the COVID-19 pandemic has been the use of Zoom. Before the pandemic, you just had to be there. I mean, you physically had to be at the meeting. You would wait all day to comment on the item that you were interested in. Nowadays, you can live stream and zoom into the meeting to provide public commentary from the comfort of your own home or your car, or maybe you're even at your favorite beach and you can comment. Next slide. Something else that we've been doing recently has been that increased support for Spanish speakers. And while we currently do not offer interpretation for all hearings. All agendas are translated. And when we know a project will impact many Spanish speakers, we work to get interpretation for those items. And we established this program in 2021 where we translate important materials, we provide limited interpretation so that Spanish speakers can give public commentary to the commissioners and seek to expand language access for additional non-English speaking communities. Next slide, please. So how exactly do you provide public commentary? How do you make the best use of your voice? And again, this is very important for us to discuss today. So we're going to get into the how-to part of this webinar. So next slide. First, we're going to show you how to virtually sign up for public comment. Now, you have to go onto our website, which is www.coastal.ca.gov. On our homepage, you can hover over meetings and click monthly agenda, or scroll down the page until you see this graphic with the black and orange and click it. So if you're on your phone, which a lot of people are nowadays, just click on the little hamburger stack menu, and then you can find the meetings there. I think we're on the wrong slide. Okay, next slide. And next, you're going to find the day and the item number for the project that you're interested in. So that this is now you're at the agenda part, and it changes every month. And so here you want to find the item number and the day. And if you want to do general public comment, which it can be on anything that is not on the agenda, then you can skip this step and just go straight to submit speaker request and click that button right there. So once you find the item and the day, you can click on that. Next slide, please. I'm going to hand it over to Chino, who's going to walk you through the speaker form.
Thanks, Javier. So once you click Submit Speaker Request, you'll want to choose the day your item is on the agenda or the day you want to provide general public comment. Once you choose the day, you'll be taken to the speaker request form, and we'll walk through how to fill that out here. I do want to note we'll only be showing some of the questions for brevity today, and because all requests are unique. That said, what we're going through today can be applied universally. One of the early questions you'll see is if you need Spanish interpretation and if you'll provide an interpreter. If you need an interpreter, please make sure you sign up early to ensure we can provide one for your public comment. The next question asks how you'll be participating. Here you can select whether you'll join via Zoom, phone, or physically be at the hearing to speak in person. So on this question, you can let us know whether you wish to make a general public comment or if you want to comment on a specific item. Please make sure that if you select general public comment, the topic of your statement is not already on the agenda. If you are speaking on an agenda item, this goes back to our earlier explanation on how to find the agenda item number of the item you wish to speak on. If your public comment has a visual aid, like a PowerPoint, a video, or photos, please notify us in this question. And then please submit your visual aid to us via email at materials@coastal.ca.gov. These must be submitted by 5 p.m. the day before the hearing at the latest. The next part of the form contains some instructions, and these vary depending on whether you plan to participate in person or via Zoom. So please read this carefully. And after this, you can hit submit at the bottom of the page to officially submit your public comment. You can also sign up for public comment in person. We have a greeting table at our hearing locations where you may fill out a speaker slip. If you need help signing up, someone will be at the table to assist you. For general public comment, in-person slips must be completed and accepted by staff at the table by 9 a.m. the morning of each hearing day. For agenda items, they're accepted up until the chair of the Coastal Commission opens the public comment on that particular item. If you have material to distribute to the commissioners, you may hand the material to the staff at the greeting table, and they'll make sure the commissioners receive it. If you plan to speak in person, be sure to arrive on time and check the schedule to know when your agenda item is coming up. You'll have 2 minutes to speak, though this time can sometimes be less. if there's a large item on the agenda, a lot of comments, or just overall time constraints. So please be prepared for that. So I know that was a lot of information, but we do have a video here that summarizes everything we just went through. This video is made in partnership with the Brent School in UC Santa Barbara, and it's also linked on our website.
What do you love about the California coast? For me, it's those scenic views and fresh air that really clears my head. And you're here because you care about the coast too. So today I'm going to show you how to register for public comment with the California Coastal Commission to make your voice heard on the issues that matter most to you. Every month, the Coastal Commission hosts multiple days of public hearings. They discuss issues that affect communities and environments all across the California coast. These meetings give the public, that's you and me, the chance to share our opinions since the Coastal Commission works for all of us. But it can be a little daunting to sign up if it's your first time. So let's take a look at the Coastal Commission website to make sure that your comments make it to the Commissioner's eyes and ears. To get started, type in coastal.ca.gov to visit the Coastal Commission's homepage. From there, take some time to explore the website. You'll find some great information on programs and services, coastal access status updates, and even some great information on how the Coastal Commission came to be. To continue registering to speak, hover over meetings in the top left-hand corner of your screen, and then click Monthly Agenda. Now, there is a lot of information on this page, but let's go through and check it all out. First of all, this page is available in both English and Spanish. Next to the language option, you'll see the live stream link where you can watch and participate. You can click through the different days of meetings to find out when the Coastal Commission will address which specific agenda items. For example, I'll use agenda item 11A. This is an application from the City of Santa Barbara to repair some infrastructure offshore near East Beach. Click Items to find staff reports where you can find more information on the matter. When you're signing up for a specific item, be sure to take note of the number and letter associated with it. If you wish to speak about a topic that is not on the agenda, you'll want to sign up for a general public comment, and we'll go through those steps later. The easiest way to comment is to click Submit Comment and send the Coastal Commission an email. Remember that email comments have to be submitted no later than 5 p.m. the Friday before the meeting. Besides email comments, you can sign up to speak at meetings either via telephone, video, or in person once in-person meetings resume. Let's scroll back up to see how that process works step by step. Go ahead and click Submit Speaker Request here. Remember that your request must be made no later than 5 p.m. the day before the meeting. Let's go with Wednesday, the day the Commission will address the Santa Barbara East Beach Infrastructure Project. Once you click the appropriate day, you'll be directed to this form. Go ahead and fill in your email address, your salutation, and your full name. Click Yes if you need Spanish interpretation services, and indicate if you will provide your own or if you need one provided for you. Next, type in your phone number. If you're joining by computer or phone, you'll indicate which here. If you're calling into the meeting, make sure the phone number that you provide matches the one that you plan to use. Let the Commission know if it will be just you speaking or if you plan to share your time with someone else. If you don't have a specific agenda item you want to discuss and want to speak more generally, select General Public Comment here and then click Next. Then attach a few words that describes what you plan to discuss. But if you do want to speak on a specific agenda item, select Specific Agendized Item and click Next. On the next page, you'll find more questions. First, find the agenda item on the drop-down menu. Remember, you can find all agenda items and their staff reports on the meeting homepage. Items are grouped by district. In the beginning, abbreviations indicate the day that the Coastal Commission will address them. The Santa Barbara East Beach permit application is agenda item W11A. For the next question, choose the option that best describes you. Most likely, you'll select option 9, interested member of the public. But be sure to carefully consider the other options if one better describes you. The following questions will ask if you're speaking alongside other people, if you're available for follow-up questions, and your position on the agenda item. We're almost near the end. If you have a visual aid, like a presentation or video, indicate that here. If the answer is yes, send those visuals to materials@coastal.ca.gov. On the next page, indicate if you have made a campaign contribution to a commissioner over the last year. And finally, you have the option to be added to the Coastal Commission mailing list. Hit submit and there you have it. You have just made your request to speak at the next California Coastal Commission meeting. Look out for an email with specific details and contact information if you have any questions. The email will have information on how to join the meeting and make your voice heard. Now that you know how to register for public comment, make sure that you do so and do so often. Your input serves our beautiful California coast. The Commission looks forward to hearing from you.
So, if you'd like more information on things like definitions and procedures of how we run things at meetings, you can also find those by going to our website. So, on the home page, you can hover over Meetings on the top tab and then click on Rules and Procedures. And this page has a lot of great information on commission procedures and definitions. There's also a document link that details the public participation procedure more in depth. And this document is also available in Spanish. This page also contains the instructional video that we just played in case you'd like to rewatch it or missed anything. We also encourage you to stay up to date by signing up for our agenda newsletter to receive the agenda as soon as it is published. To do this, you can go back to our homepage, hover over Participate, and then click Email List Sign Up. On this page, you can sign up for the monthly public agenda notification, and you can also sign up for our newsletters on other topics, such as the monthly environmental justice newsletter and other newsletters from our many other programs that you can see here. Finally, we want to leave you with some tips on how to make the most of your public comments. Whether you're attending in person or on Zoom, it's important to sign up early and practice your comments beforehand. You should also be prepared for any possible time changes, and overall, just follow staff instructions patiently. If you're attending in person, please be sure to arrive on time and be courteous throughout the meeting. If you're on Zoom, you will receive the link after you submit your speaker request form. And please remember to keep your camera and mic off until it's your turn. The chair will take in-person speakers before Zoom speakers. So again, patience is key with this. When speaking, always shoot to stay within the provided time limit. And for your comments, it's always good to briefly explain why you chose to comment and even share a personal story to make your message more impactful. And I'm going to turn it back over to Javier to close us out.
Thank you so much, Chino. And I just wanted to remind you all that your public engagement should not stop after a hearing. We really encourage you to work with us and others to help improve access and reduce barriers to participation. Even after a project is approved with the Coastal Commission, keep track of its progress and help us to stay on top of things. We really recommend that you participate at other levels of government as well, like local hearings and council meetings. When you do make a public comment, and you're not just speaking to us, but you're also adding to the public record. And that's really important. Even at local levels, we often do find new information and a new perspective when listening to this public record. And we're a state agency, and even though we have incredible employees and have improved our outreach thanks to our environmental justice policy, you are the experts of your own communities, and we really want to hear from you all. And I promise that the commissioners and staff do listen. Now, I want you to think back to the beginning of this presentation. Do you think that California would have adopted the Coastal Act if advocates stopped after a public comment? Be creative and find different ways to engage about what you care about. That is the spirit of Prop 20, the Coastal Act, and the Coastal Commission.